So this is one of the places that I wanted to discuss with you. You can see this from the front of the house. It is a light industrial area that our property bumps up against, and we would like to block that view. It's probably 100 yards at least away from our house, but we still can see it. So there are these motocross motorcycle mounds, like jumping and riding mounds that the former owners put out here. And they're all over out there in the back 20 acres. And we were wondering if we could put trees on them, shrubs on them, something, but it's that hard clay soil with hard pan, so it's really difficult to grow anything. I have discovered that if I plant on the mounds, things grow pretty well, fairly well, not great, but I can water them and I think they're able to take root because it's not super hard. So this was just an experiment. I planted some cowpeas, which are known to have roots that break through hard pan soil. So they're growing out here, but there's not a whole lot else. Here's a view of the back 20 acres of our property, and it's got these motocross biking mounds on them. We could move them, however there are some trees out there and shrubs. A couple of them are dying, as you can see, but there is an irrigation system out there that I kind of don't want to mess up, even though clearly they're broken underground somewhere, the pipes are, so we have to redo them. And these mounds might be a good place to grow some shrubs on so that we can cover that light industrial area to the southwest of us. Another thought that we had about this area is this is right next to the driveway, but could we put in a pond out here, because the clay soil really holds water well. That's one good thing about it. And we have this little, I'll show it to you, this little water feature that is a little bubbling creek, and it runs during the day and then it shuts off at night, and it drains into this pipe and then under the driveway into this little ditch. And it's a low spot there where you can see all that green where some things are growing. So our thought is, could we put in a pond right here in this lowish area? How would we actually make it worthwhile, and could we plant trees around it? I think they would grow because there's all this water runoff. And also, this is the other problem, is there aren't very many windows from our house where we could actually see it and enjoy it. We'd have to come outside to see it and enjoy it, which is okay. But I don't know where else we would possibly put a pond that would work, because we have the fence in the way everywhere else. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the water feature. I really like this. I think it's really cute and nice. But I actually was wondering if there was a way to make this little fountain louder. I mean, we'd have to get some higher elevation to it to pump up higher and build something. So maybe you have some ideas about that, just because you can't really hear it from very far away, and it would be nice to be able to hear it from inside the house with the windows open. Have a ton of weeds. Okay, those are the cow peas that I planted, black-eyed peas. But then there's just a bunch of weeds here, and a lot of, this is the worst one. This right here is goat goat head weed or goat weed, I don't know what you call it. But that one's the worst because it has the big thorns that just get into everything and even pop car tires. I would love to know how to plant ground cover that might quench that. Okay, here's our chicken coop, and this is all of our chicken yard. And the house looks out this way out the windows, and you can't see it over the fence too well, but on the other side of the fence is that same light industrial area. So my thought was plant shrubs along that back fence, trees maybe, and I bought 3 of these little arborvitae trees. Don't know really where to put them yet or how to establish them in this really hard soil. So they're just in pots for now, waiting for October and hopefully some rain. And just wondered what your thoughts might be as to where to put them in and how to break up the soil to put them in, how to amend the soil so that they can actually survive. So those are questions. Out here by that birch tree, on the other side of that fence, you can kind of see the light industrial as well. I would love to plant more trees and shrubs on the other side of that fence or on this side of the fence, doesn't matter, just to block that industrial area. Here's another question I had. This is a little like patio where the former owners had a little table and chairs and a sun umbrella sitting on, and I don't really use it for that, sitting right next to the chicken coop. So I was wondering if I should just tear that out and use the... Okay, so another thing you and I had talked about was the type of trees that grow around here, and the ones that seem to be living, actually surviving, are a pear tree way out there randomly, and a poplar tree. I don't know what that far one is right now. I could take a close-up of the leaves, and there's a liquid amber right there. I think that's what it is. I'll show you a close-up of the leaves. It doesn't seem to be doing really well. It's got some like shriveled leaf or something, fungus or something. And of course willows grow wild here easily if there's any water. And here's another tree. I'll get a close-up of the leaves. Locust maybe? That's my guess, but you know better. And then back there at the entrance, well, it's not the entrance to our driveway, but closer to the entrance, is I think a cedar tree, maybe even a redwood. I'll get closer to it. And of course junipers, they grow pretty well, but they still had to be watered here to get them to grow. I think just the former owner said he just had to get them established. Okay, so now that I get closer, this looks I'm not sure what it is. Kind of looks like a cedar or a redwood, so I think you would know. Okay, now here is this kind of dead area where my husband keeps parking trailers and ugly stuff. And also our above ground pool is back there. So the plan is to put more of the same type of brown fencing around this area so that we can hide the ugly equipment. Just wanted your thoughts on that, because maybe we could plant shrubs or something around the fence on the outside of it somewhere. This is a dogwood tree that looks like it's doing well. I think this is a corkscrew willow tree because of the really twisty branches. This tree is actually doing the best of any tree on our entire property. The birch tree looks like it's doing really well. There was a time when we first moved here when the leaves were getting yellow and we put more water on it and it very quickly turned around and is not yellow anymore. Trees that were planted here, they have a special drainage system that apparently is needed to get them to grow properly. So hopefully, it would be nice if we didn't have to do that on every tree, but that seems like that has to be done on some. This is the tree that I think is a liquid amber, just because kind of the leaves, but also because of these seed pods. They look like liquid amber to me. I'm not sure. Here's a close-up of leaf and seeds. But you see how the leaves are kind of curled and diseased looking, so I'm not sure what that's about. We've added more water to it because it wasn't getting watered well, so it's done better than it was doing. This kind of looks like the liquid amber that we were just looking at, but not sure. It's got a little shoot coming up there. So another weed that we have a lot of that I don't care for at all are these star thistles. So if you know how to control them by maybe planting some kind of ground cover, that would be good to know. So this is outside the back of the house from the patio, looking out to the light industrial area, and it is definitely an eyesore. So we would love to plant trees or shrubs that grow tall enough to cover that, preferably close to the fence. I would actually like to see some on the other side of the fence if possible, so it doesn't crowd the chicken yard. That's just me. There is a seasonal creek that runs right behind that fence. Not very many months of the year, but it does have some water back there and some low points that pool up. So I think planting back there could be good as far as water is concerned, at least to maybe get them established in the fall and get them growing during the winter. At night, this is a little obnoxious. We can just ignore it, but there's a storage unit business and a couple buildings back there, and they have really bright security lights shining on it. And at night, they're kind of obnoxious. So again, another good reason to put those shrubs or trees right near that fence, this side or the other side of it.